See how easy it is to propagate comfrey roots in the fall and how important your drying method is for the comfrey root. I had abundant leaves to harvest in the spring and the summer, and the butterflies and bees, I just couldn't believe how much they enjoyed these flowers. But now fall is here and I'm ready to harvest the roots. Okay, I've got my comfrey kind of washed up, and you really can't see. Let me get through here. You can really see how big these roots are down through the middle. Now I'm going to harvest these. And I'm going to wash these really well, and I'm going to let them dry overnight, and then I'm going to cut them up to dry. Now these smaller roots, I'm going to put in a pot and propagate them. And they're just so, comfrey is nearly impossible to kill, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to just put some good potting soil. You want something with really good drainage. And then I'll just take, all I really need is about 1 inch. But just for good measures, I'm going to, since I've got plenty of it, I'm going to go a little further. And I just need to stick it in here. And I'll leave just a little bit poking up. Now I'm not fertilizing it right now because I'll wait till it starts developing some roots before I start fertilizing it. And your top growth grows during warm weather. Your leaves, your flowers, that's during warm weather. But during cold weather is when your roots really develop. So this is the perfect time to start getting it planted and prepared to sell for next spring. I'll wet these down. I'll just put them in the greenhouse for the winter. I'm not going to worry about keeping heat on them. I mean, my plants survived like, it was at 4 below zero last February, and all my plants just did, all my comfrey plants did fine. So there's just not that much to it. So let me get the rest of these potted up. And then later I will show you about cutting these bigger roots up that I'm going to dry. Okay, now as I go through here and I'm cutting off these long roots to either dry or to make more plants with, I'm kind of left with a crown, if you can see that. And I'm going to cut the leaves off this crown. And so these bigger crowns, I will put, you can see that, I will put these in a gallon pot versus these smaller pots. And so the ones with the crowns, of course, are going to make a much bigger plant much quicker. Okay, now I've kind of got all my roots kind of settled out. The smaller stuff I'm going to make potted plants out of, and I've cut these 2 to 3 inches long. Now my crowns, I've kind of got those separated out, and I'll be putting these in gallon pots. And then my bigger roots, these are the ones I'm going to wash and let them dry overnight and then cut them up to dry, because once comfrey gets hard, when it dries really, really hard, and it's really almost impossible to cut. So I'm going to kind of shred these up or cut them up in small pieces and not dry them whole like this. Okay, now all these crowns I'm just going to put a little dirt in here. I'm going to fill my pot about, a little over half full. And depending on which size my crown is, now this crown has a pretty good sized root on it, but I'm going to cut off these dead leaves. I don't want that in there. And I want it just enough for it to just be a little bit more dirt where the very top of it is sticking out. Okay, I'll give this a good water. Once it waters, the soil will settle, and I'll probably have to add a little more dirt to it. Big roots on it. Now, comfrey is known for how much it spreads from its roots, so you really don't have to be too concerned. I mean, you may lose a few, so you do want to put a lot of them. And I just look at how many plants I'm going to get from this one plant. I've got all these crowns, plus I had the bigger roots that I kept to dry. Now for the plants that you have left in the ground or in the pots outside, you don't want to cut these leaves off. You want to leave them, and you will not cut them till the following spring. Okay, I washed my roots and I set them out on a wire rack, which is just my cookie rack, for them to dry overnight. Okay, now I split the larger roots open and cleaned them out. So don't be alarmed if the larger roots are hollow inside. This is normal. Just be sure and clean well before drying. Now I then chopped them into smaller pieces and set them in a basket to air dry. Now I will stir them around each day so they may dry all the way around and prevent mold. Okay, you can look for my previous video on harvesting comfrey roots in the fall, but coming soon I'll be doing a video on how to make comfrey root arthritis and injury lotion. Thank you so much for joining me today, and if you enjoy these videos, please like, subscribe, and share. We are a small family farm and we need your support to continue to make these videos and share natural healing remedies. Visit me at FamilyGuideToHerbs.com. Now my channel name on YouTube is Carolyn Gibson Herbalist.